Hey, there's evidence of all the Indian ruins. Everybody, if you remember me talking about Indian ruins, again, it's okay. You can let her sleep. I'm so sorry. That was my fault, Gabby. I pointed out that you were starting to nod out, and I'm sorry. Again, I didn't want your dad to do that.
It's the off-road.
And by the way, everybody, again, it's naturally what happens. Can everybody see the cave up there about 700 feet up in the canyon?
Yeah.
Can you all see that? Yeah. There's an Indian village inside of that cave.
No.
Right now?
Little Indian town. No, it was actually built over 1,000 years ago, but can you all see? It's right in between the trees.
Yeah.
Look over there. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sinagua Indians, Sinagua Indians, were actually farming out here, as I mentioned, about 1,000 years ago. And there's just a little bitty, you can catch a little bit more of it. Yep.
So it's like, how can they get in?
Oh, ladders! Everybody took ladders up to the roof line. They took ladders to get in. They even took ladders up into the roofs and put ladders back down in it.
I can see windows.
So pretty much they've preserved their.
Well, it's collapsed. The structure was held up with wooden timbers. They were there 700 years ago. They abandoned them, you all, and all the wood is rotted out for the last 700 years. So what's left is just walls of these cliff dwellings, and there's actually cliff dwelling state parks, Montezuma's Castle and Tuzigu in the valley, where you can see what's left of these structures, artifacts, stuff like that are available. Thing is, you get them on your computer, Gabe, and you go through, and all the ones you think that are good negatives, you can delete everything else. You can delete that computer chip, reformat it, so you're back off to a new adventure. And then if you think there's something like any of the pictures that I took of you all as a family, if you go, that's a really good one, you can actually have that printed out by a local Walgreens. You just send them the one picture. They can do it all online. Just send it over to them and they'll print it up. You bring it back, frame it at your house. You don't even have to have a professional printer, because like regular Walgreens or Rite Aid or something like that, they already have that equipment there. All you got to do is send them the file or bring it to them on a computer chip. Today's digital photography is so much different from when we were kids. Remember, you'd go and say a prayer, please let there be some good pictures in this roll. Remember the rolls of films? Yeah, exactly.
No, wait. That's not how the problem is. I hope the roll is not exposed.
Exactly.
I was like,
yep.
Crap.
Oh, yeah.
Our roll is exposed.
I couldn't tell you how many times that was.
Like, okay, never mind. And then you're ending up with stacks and stacks of paper pictures.
Yep. I know exactly how you feel. I had the same thing.
This is a good job. Are you good? Are you happy? This is what you're expecting, right? I was like, no, because like we were asking him, like, let's go to a pink Jeep. No, I don't want a pink Jeep. All right. How about a white Jeep? No white Jeep.
No, he said black.
Black. So if you haven't heard this story, everybody, the reason our Jeep is pink is kind of a fun story. Do you think it has anything to do with the woman? Yeah, everybody. Let me tell you, in 1957, we started with an old surplus military Jeep, like your jeepneys over in the Philippines. A man by the name of Don Pratt took out the rear seat. We called it the general seat. He put in 3 small seating in the rear, modified it. He put a canopy top over it. You take 4 people out on a Jeep tour. And in 1957, 58, 59, and 60, he's doing Jeep tours out here. And it's very successful because the only tours that were here were horseback rides. And horseback rides could cover, 1/5 1/10 of the amount of property he could cover in a 2-hour tour. And it became very successful. And what happened is Don Pratt and his wife go to celebrate their 1960 season in Oahu, Hawaii, and they stayed at a resort called the Royal Hawaiian. Now, for those that know Oahu, the resort is actually pink. All the buildings are pink, the golf carts are pink, the shuttles are pink, the actual towels are pink. On the return flight home, you all, Don Pratt's wife said to Don, honey, I think you ought to paint your Jeep pink. I believe people would remember a pink color long after you remember your name, Don Pratt's surplus military color Jeep. And he said, honey, okay, I'll paint it pink. And he painted it pink, and he was so impressed, he said, I'm changing the name to Pink Jeep Tours. And that's how we got our name. We began operating in 1960 under the name Pink Jeep Tours. We're the oldest and largest Jeep tour company in the entire United States, you all. And we have now 71 Jeeps in this national forest. And we have 4 divisions now. Grand Canyon, Scottsdale, and Las Vegas.
That's why that. That's the sound.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit too deep. That was a tiring ride.
So how many tours do you do every day?
So yesterday I did 1. Today it appears that I'll do 2, but we actually averaged 2.5.
2.5.
2.5 a day, yeah. Yeah, half tours when you don't laugh at my dumb jokes. I just turn the motor off and hike back out and let you guys.
It's so tiring, especially you're driving. When you have like 4 tours a day.
Well, we are regulated by, you ever heard of OSHA? The Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration. Yeah, we're regulated by OSHA, so there's only so much time that we're allowed to work. While once we first start our first driving tour, we can only work so many hours in the day, and we're regulated by that. But we average 2.5. This, I mean, that's year round. So again, are there times when I can do 4 tours in a day? Yep. On Thursday, I'm expecting to have at least 4 because this is called Labor Day week. So the most I've ever done is 5 tours in a day. That's the most. Well, some of our tours are only an hour and a half. So and again, if I did, let's just say that I did 3 or 5 90-minute tours, I've actually only worked. 5 90-minute tours. So what is that? That's 7.5 hours of actually behind the wheel time. Yeah. And let me tell you, this is a physical job. It's fatiguing.
I know, that's like,
it's fatiguing.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you, because like I'm right here in the back.
Yeah.
I'm freaking exhausted right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, you driving right there, I was like, I don't know how you do it.
Gabe, again, I do 50 sit